Dine and Dash with fast food. It's our Sinclair, episode 88. Hi everybody, welcome to our Sinclair. I'm John.
And I'm Aaron.
And today, Aaron, we're going to be talking about fast food.
My favorite, dude. Oh, man.
You know, if ever there was a topic built for some ridiculous banter, it's fast food. Bro. Okay, give me your top 3 fast food options. And I'm talking true fast food. None of this fast casual Applebee's crap. I mean real fast food.
Do the drive-ins count?
Yeah, heck yeah. Well, not Schaefer's. I'm talking about national chains. Schaefer's not what I call fast food either. You got to wait.
Well, let me see here. The ones that I have access to, it's funny, I'm sick of all fast food. It's the funny thing about it. I'm sick of all of it. So I'm going to say the ones I'm the least sick of, I'm going to go with Rally's.
Okay, interesting choice.
Fazoli's, and Chick-fil-A. I'm going to go with those. What about you?
You know, Fazoli's is interesting because I have not eaten at a Fazoli's since I was in high school. Yeah. Since they had the one in the Valley.
Yeah. Man, I missed that place.
For me, I like McDonald's. Like it's always around.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A is up there. And I'm gonna go probably Little Caesars drive-through $5 pizza.
If I had honorary mentions, someone mentioned one, it'd be White Castle. The problem is White Castle, there's not one anywhere near us.
I don't count White Castle because we don't have access.
Right, but I mean, when I go on the road, I occasionally will pass one, and then I don't pass it for very long.
You ever go to that Crystal off the I think it's the Mount Sterling exit?
I did once. This is the problem with my job, is that if those things don't set well, then you got just a little problem. We go back to our Trucker's Helper episode. Yeah. But I will say, the Little Caesars $5 pizza, people are like, oh, that's crap pizza. It is. It's $5 pizza, but I think it's for $5 you're gonna get a deal.
Yeah.
I think they upped the price though, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, it's still pretty cheap, and pizza is like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Now, what are the ones you pass and never stop at?
You know, I used to be against Taco Bell for a real long time.
Yeah.
Because, like, all of their stuff is kind of the same thing. It's variations on the same thing.
Yeah.
But frequently, I've gone back because they've revamped their dollar menu. And I'm a big fan of that spicy potato soft taco.
Yeah.
I like the sauce they put on it. It's like one your home fries that you get at Bob Evans.
Yeah.
They put those on a taco. And you get yourself 6 or 7 of those, and that's a meal.
You know, I should have mentioned another one, Sheetz. Sheetz has got some good, like, drive-through, like a hot dog.
I wish that the Hurricane Sheetz had a drive-through.
Oh, yeah.
That was a real miss.
That's not fast food, you go in there.
Yeah.
The ones I'd go past, it's funny, I was exactly the same with Taco Bell, but now there's some stuff I'd go there, I don't know what the stuff is. I don't want any of it. The ones I don't go to, like Five Guys.
Well, that's everything that's fast food's not. It's expensive and slow.
Right, but also the burgers make me want to die.
Yeah.
So I don't go there. I'm trying to see that I eat all of them. So
I really don't like Subway.
I love Subway, but it's so expensive. It's unbelievable.
I don't think that their sandwiches are very good. And
Subway would have been number 1 on my list if it had been 5 years ago.
There's much better options. Like, I think Jersey Mike's is the same price as Subway, and it's way, way better.
Nah.
Penn Station, same price as Subway, way better.
Penn Station is more expensive than Subway. But also, here's the thing. $5 footlongs was the gimmick, right? Their subs aren't as good as Penn's, all right? But now they're super expensive and they're not that great.
Right.
But when I did the Amigo weight loss wager, like White Castle, Subway was I ate there every day, every day. But now I can't afford it. It's hard to eat out now. I don't even like to eat out all that much if I can help it, you know. But yeah, those are all good choices.
Now, when I was in England, I was really looking forward to seeing what British fast food had on offer.
Yeah.
When I went there, I was disappointed. Well, I wasn't disappointed. I was
burial.
They don't have a lot of chains. At least, now I'm talking about my very limited experience in one town in England, in Sheffield. Okay,
so you're burying the whole country based on this one area.
It's the American way.
Yeah.
So, but what they do have is a thing called the chip shop.
Yeah.
Okay, And what you get there is you get your fish and chips, okay? But they've also got the big hunk of meat on the spit, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I know what. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, it's a big hunk of meat on a spit, and it rotates.
What's
right?
The meat?
I think it's a combination of lamb and beef.
How's that possible?
They meld it together. I think it's created in a laboratory.
They meld. I've never had lamb.
Yeah, and it's melded together, so it's like it's an unnatural. Think of like a hawk.
Maybe they breed them
like a
somehow.
ham hog. Yeah, like they're bred for their magic.
Yeah.
And so you put that on the spit, and there's a guy there, and he cuts off shards of it, right?
Yeah.
And he puts it over top of a bed of fries, and these are the thick cut fries.
Yeah.
And then just mayo in like a little bit spicy sauce, just cover it so it's drowning in it.
Yeah.
You get yourself one of those. You take it home, and you eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
Rest of the night violently ill. But when you're eating it, it's the best thing.
Does it
it's
not
the
come with
best
it's
thing.
not on bread or anything?
It's the fries are the bread.
No, that sounds
the fries are the bread. That should be the UK slogan.
I thought when you went over there for like Amiga Ireland, didn't you do like the kebab thing? Isn't that a big deal over there? They have fast food kebab joints?
So the kebab is part of the chippy too.
And what about those? What's the other thing they eat? The real hot
chicken tikka masala.
No, not kebab, but the other big late night booze snack, curry.
That's what tikka masala is.
How would I know that? I don't know. I barely know what curry is.
So I'm not big on that stuff. When there's the other thing on, when there's the hunk of meat on the spit, that's what I go for.
I see. Well, yeah, I would go for the hunk of meat as well.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with the hunk of meat.
Yeah.
Even if it's a weird, I don't know whatever you would call that, lamb. What was the other thing?
Lamb and beef mixed.
I don't know. I don't know about that
it's
one.
It's a mix. Yeah.
Now I'm hungry, though. We'll say that. Let's get through this review and get out of here.
All right. Let's talk about fast food.
Oh, man. Fast food. Now, I will admit, but when this thing came up on the docket, I thought it was a separate game. I didn't think it was this game at all. And I don't know what game I thought it was. Mm-hmm. Because I can tell you, I don't think I've ever played this game until this week. Had you played this one before?
No.
So this is Fast Food. Fast Food, this one's developed by our good buddies, the Oliver Twins.
Mm-hmm. Friend of the show, Oliver Twins.
They were on the show, God, it's been forever
a long time ago, yeah.
Back in the day.
They were promoting, if you recall, when they were on, they were promoting their MMO RPG.
Yeah, that didn't get funded, as I recall.
It got funded to them, and then the funding dried up, and they exited stage left.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
So I guess that thing dried up entirely. I'd forgotten that they were even pitching anything. Anyway, this one developed and worked on by the Oliver Twins, and the music of this thing composed by the legendary David Whittaker. We've covered many of his tunes, a few of his games. And, of course, you also had Alistair Brimble that did the Amiga version. So you got a couple of decent fellows doing the tunes on these. From the ZX, it was Whittaker. Of course, this is in the Dizzy series. You've got Dizzy. What would you explain? If someone said, "What's Dizzy?" How would you describe Dizzy?
I would describe Dizzy as the ZX Spectrum's cute, cartoon-like mascot.
How do you think he, in the pantheon of mascots, because we've buried all the Amiga ones, where does Dizzy fall in? Because he's probably the guy.
Here's the thing. Dizzy was going up against Horace.
Valid point.
And so
don't badmouth that guy. We'll get killed.
The road was easy for Dizzy, is what I'm saying.
I think Dizzy's a pretty competent mascot. He's cute. He's definitely unique.
Well, Dizzy is one of the few British mascots to actually make the jump to consoles. There were NES games that were Dizzy games.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, hey, listen, when you're representing the Yoke folk, you're in.
Yeah.
This one, of course, published by Codemasters. I think they were behind all the Dizzy games. This thing appeared on more platforms than I would have anticipated, but I guess so did Dizzy. You've got your Amstrad, of course, the C64. The Atari ST, the Amiga, the MS-DOS. There's a Switch. There's a newly released Switch version of this that the Olivers have, cajoled and changed and messed around with. And you have to release all of the Dizzy games on the Enterprise 64/128 boat. So that's nice to see.
I'm slightly perturbed that there's not a Tatung Einstein version of this.
The Tatung was difficult to port to, I believe. This released in April of '89, boats. This is a pretty old game. And this is a single-player maze game. This one is occasionally referred to as fast food Dizzy, or just fast food.
I'm surprised that they didn't make that the actual title.
Yeah,
because that
would make more sense because
they're selling this game on the strength of the character.
Yeah. According to World of Spectrum, this is the third released game in the feature Dizzy. So this was the third one. This was a departure from your previous Dizzy game.
Yes,
because this is sort of a maze game. Now it's funny when I read the documentation for this. The documentation is pretty slight, and it just tells you basically what you do. I read the docs, and I was like, okay, this seems straightforward. And then I played the game, and it was straightforward. Because normally you read the doc, and there's some hidden knowledge, but this has no hidden knowledge, Bo. Explain to the people the general the general way you play fast food.
Well, this is a maze chase game in the genre of Pac-Man. You play as Dizzy. We didn't talk about who Dizzy is, who Dizzy claims to be. He is.
Make it sound. What does that mean? Make it sound sinister.
Well, he's an egg, but is he really?
Well, I mean, yeah. I think he represents a yolk of folk.
Okay.
Why would he be something else? It's always like
it's like a Zool situation, right? So anyway, Dizzy is an egg that's walking around, and
sounds great so far.
And what your job is to do is to negotiate these mazes to collect items of food that allow you to pass to the next level. You are avoiding. I don't know that these things. I'm sure they're named in the docs. You don't have that pulled up exactly.
I didn't print the docs out, so no. But they were named in there.
You're avoiding some creatures. They kind of look like, if you can imagine, if the Fry Guys got a haircut. That's what they look like.
Yeah, sort of.
And so that they're vaguely sort of they're or if you can imagine like your classic ghost Halloween costume with the eye holes cut out, but imagine if you cut it off too high, and so you've got a pair of legs walking around with sort of a half of a ghost costume on top.
They do look very similar to the old Fry Guys.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of. Now, the funny thing about this game is when you run around, when you read the docs, like I said, and you read what you're supposed to do, there's not a lot of curveballs, and yet it's still not bad.
It's not bad.
What this reminded me, because when you start early on, you kind of meander. Dizzy does tend to meander. He's not a quick character unless you get the fast forward thing.
But I mean, that matches his lore. Yeah. I'm sure that in the Dizzy character Bible, there's actually things written in there that says that he can't.
Wait a minute.
He can't go past a certain speed.
Do you think there's a character Bible?
Oh yeah, I mean, like
having like a save.
Yeah, when the showrunners do all of Dizzy's live action adaptations, they have to refer to that.
Man, I would pay top dollar to see an action movie with Dizzy as the star.
There wouldn't be a lot of action.
That'd be slow action. But Dizzy meanders around. But then again, the bad guys aren't in a hurry either, and so early on, especially, you're just kind of even late. It's not like they're hauling tail through the maze.
And they're not exactly chasing after you either. It's almost as if they're going about business of their own.
Right. And you just have to get in their way.
Right.
So basically, Dizzy's go around eating food. Okay, fair enough. Now, you'll get some power-ups, but usually you get the speed up or the slow down. The slow down is the dirt word. Because you move at the legitimate speed of an actual egg, if you get that. I mean, it just kind of meanders at a low rate. If you get the speed up, though, you're thinking to yourself, why did they just make the game this speed? That's what I kept thinking.
Now, the monsters do have names in the grand Pac-Man tradition. Their names are Bonzo, obviously who was the guy? Bonzo. That's a reflection of a real life person, right?
You got me. I don't know.
Anyway, you've also got Wizza.
Yeah.
You got Pippa. And Fido.
Now, are they assigned specific colors or?
I believe that they are, but I don't know which go to which.
Yeah.
And they're only described as mushroom-like monsters.
That's all you can generate with the graphics. As you go through this game, you know what this game reminded me of the more I played it? It reminded me quite a bit of Casey Munchkin.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're chasing food through this maze, so much like you would chase the dots.
Right.
When you play Casey Munchkin. And listen, that's not a bad thing. It's not an insult either. It's a good thing. I don't remember what year Casey Munchkin came out, but it didn't predate this by much.
Oh no, Casey Munchkin came out a long time before. This game came out in 1989.
Well, I mean, but it's not like it was. I mean, what I'm saying is I don't think this is a direct rip-off of it.
No.
But there's some gameplay elements that are very similar. That's a good thing, because part of the fun of Casey Munchkin was that you had to chase the dots around. And this game, you're basically chasing around the dots, which is cool. I like that. This game also introduces these sort of like they're called hedges in the manual, but they're areas that you can go that the bad guys can't.
Right, they're like safe houses.
And you scoot through them, and these things are handy. There are a lot of points in this game though where you'll get caught, and so you're going to go through men. But the good thing is, I think it's every 3 levels you get an extra man. And on my very first play of this game, I got to level 8 before I lost the guy, and there's only like 30 levels. So it's like this. It's not. I mean, this is one of the few games where I can say I didn't suck instantly, and I was instantly great.
Right. This is a very easy game, and I say that with the knowledge that I'm not a good video game player.
Oh, you're not that bad.
And so, but is that a bad thing? No, I don't think it's a bad thing. Here's the. I'm going to cut to the chase here.
Okay, get in there.
Okay.
Get in there.
I am a sucker for a maze chase game.
Yeah.
I like Pac-Man.
Your Ladybug sort.
Ladybug, one of my top 3 arcade games of all time.
Wow. No.
Okay. Yes,
really?
Absolutely. Okay. And Ladybug to me is the pinnacle of this genre.
I knew you loved it.
And so when I saw Dizzy ambling about a maze, I was in.
Yeah.
I was in. Now, here's the thing that I don't like about this game.
All right.
I'm okay with including speed up and slow down power-ups.
Yeah.
All these power-ups do is speed up and slow down the game.
Yeah.
Okay? If you're going to put in power-ups that speed things up and slow them down, you need to speed Dizzy up while keeping the monsters moving at the same speed.
Well, you can't
slow down the monsters.
You can't get that thing that freezes the monster.
That's true, but that does not negate my point that the speed up and slow down things do nothing.
Well, it makes you, I don't know, I liked them just because I was so slow.
Well,
I'm just so happy to move faster. That's all it took for me. I like them. I mean, but I understand what you're saying. This game's funny. The mazes in this are pretty constricted, and so so you have to strategically go around, and sometimes you just have to kill time until you can go down a long one-way dead-end hallway to get the food you want. That's hanging out down there. It is fun when the food runs around though, because you can sometimes if the food runs in a happy way. You could actually get a bunch of food, like a corner. If it just happens, but on the flip side, sometimes the food takes a right turn right when you're up on it, and it's infuriating because it went the wrong way, and you've got to go all the way back around the maze, and you're so slow.
I mean, I think that the food movement is what makes this game.
Wonder why, Boat, that as we look at this, and I noticed this right away, it's the old Dreamcatcher, they've got a third of the screen that has the logo of CoCo.
Well, I'll tell you.
Like they've had all that whole thing be made.
Well, here's the thing. I'll tell you why that is.
Yeah.
Is that they are aping the classic arcade vertically oriented monitor viewpoint.
Well, would you not like to have had a bigger maze?
No, I'd rather have it at the correct aspect ratio, like they've done.
But there is no correct aspect ratio. This isn't a vertical game.
Listen,
it could be a full size game.
Look at Dig Dug, Ladybug, Mr. Do, Pac-Man. They're all vertically oriented games. They're following in the footsteps of these giants.
Well, I guess. Or it could be they just didn't want to use the whole screen.
Well, this game took 2 weeks to code, I believe, from beginning to end.
Really?
They said, according to Wiki, they say that the game was playable within 2 days, and it took them 2 weeks to kind of smooth it out and finish it off.
Listen, I can't complain on that.
The Oliver twins were working at a good clip. I'm sure that they had to get a certain number of games out to keep their overlords happy. And this is not a bad effort for the amount of time that it took to get this out, especially when you consider what was the MSRP of this thing? Probably $2.99, something like that.
It wasn't much,
right? To me, if I was out and about and I was shopping for a budget release for the ZX Spectrum, I would be pleased as punch to pick up Fast Food Dizzy.
I'd say this is sacrilegious. I'm going to say, but this is easily my favorite of the Dizzy games, and there's one reason. I could instantly play it and not be frustrated or wish I was dead.
Right.
I mean, is it the most complex? God, no. Is it the game you're going to play the most hours on? Good God, no. But it's sort of fun, and it's definitely playable. And what he set out to accomplish with the twins, they pulled it off. It's a maze game. It's original enough to not be Pac-Man.
I love the hedge mechanic. I love the way. I mean, it sort of brings in a dig dug element to it.
Yeah. But I mean, also, it's just I like the fact that you can zoom in and out of the hedge, and you add the strategy to it. There are some things I don't like. The long hallways with the dead ends, that can get annoying. It's real annoying to sit there and wait. We didn't mention the little cartoons. Which these things are plugged on the cassette. They're like, there's a cartoon every 3 levels.
Right. And again, this is another, I might be there with you. This may be my favorite Dizzy game. What? This game really has it all because it takes, the cutscenes are great. This is the only game that features Dizzy's mother. Yeah. I've always thought she was neglected, and now I know why. So
as opposed to vice versa.
This is, it's really, they could have almost sold this here's the problem is this came out in 1989.
Yeah.
If this would have come out in 1983 or 1984, soon after the launch of the Spectrum, this thing could have been sold at full price.
Oh yeah.
This late in the game, probably the budget price. But again, we've played so many, even in Codemaster releases that can't hold a candle to this. BMX Simulator, I'm looking at you.
Ouch.
And so this,
that was one of those too.
I was pleasantly surprised by this, and this is a game that I will return to.
I would like to have had. I'd like to have had Dizzy move at the speed he does when he's fast, and move faster when he got the fast forward. I like the power ups though, and sometimes simple is good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not the biggest Pac-Man fan, but I do like the challenge. And the thing is, it's funny. This is a game where you have to go chase the food often, right? The fact that there's not a zillion things on the screen, that's a good thing.
Yes.
The bad guys are clearly defined. The maze is clearly defined. It's not complicated. The controls aren't complicated. And this would be an easy game to put on a keyboard. Yes, they took the Dizzy guy and stuck him in here and used him. They probably, I don't want to say they kind of shopped him out, but this isn't really a Dizzy game. But I mean, he's a great character. Use him. And then they add in the cartoons. Again, in 2022, you're like, eh. But I mean, these things were, when I was a kid, like those cutscenes were great.
Yeah. And
so to have those in the home version of a game, double great. And getting them every 3 levels, awesome. It's got a Mr. Do thing going on there. Yep. And the fact they give you an extra man, so you've always got a lot of extra man, and you're going to need them in the higher levels. I mean, did I get through this whole game? No, I did not. But I got into I think the highest I got was like 21 or something.
So you came pretty close to beating this thing.
And the thing is, I enjoyed it. Like it wasn't like I don't want to call it any of the games Norris. But it wasn't a game where I literally was begging to die. I mean, I enjoyed playing this. It was fun. Would I go back to it every day? No. But is this one you could, play for fun on a whim? Sure. This is one of those games you could pull right up, and it would be great with no problem. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit, but I'll have to say.
Now, speaking of high scores, we did have a little high score competition on the Discord.
Yes, absolutely.
Z9K9 ran away with it this time with a score of 10,141. Roughly 5 times the score of everyone else. But Jigglebox, Bajako, and Mitsuyama both all put forth respectable scores on this game. So we appreciate them for participating, and for Paul, a.k.a. Hermsky, for running our Discord high score competition. What were the magazine reviews like on this one?
Go ahead and let's hear the Discord.
Okay, we'll do the Discord first. Here we go. Paul, Bossman Harrington, says, today's nap was 40 minutes. I played this game for 5 minutes. Of course, Paul, proud papa of twins, so he's got limited gaming time these days.
Oh my God, I can imagine.
He says, not a game for me. Too slow, doesn't really grab you, and whilst the music was okay, it would start to grate after extended play. Not one of the Spectrum's, Dizzy's, or Codemaster's finest. Bossman didn't like it. Will Brooker writes, I'm going to be generous and review this as if I'm writing for Crash in 1983, so that he's taking on the persona of a Crash writer.
All right.
Wow! Playing Fast Food Dizzy is like entering an animated cartoon where you control the main character. In terms of genre, this is a reinvented Pac-Man, but not like any of the clones of the other lesser companies that released in the last year, with their tiny graphics and only 8 pixels square. plotting movement and beeping music. Fast food includes multi-channel fanfares that had me looking around my bedroom for the hidden arcade machine. The enemies in Dizzy are huge sprites, at least 6 characters tall, and movement is silky smooth, with none of the dreaded color clash we usually get on the Specky. Show this to your C64 pals and they'll go green as a rotten egg with envy. Gameplay is varied and addictive, with multiple enemies and power-ups, and all the food types are programmed to follow different patterns, some of them evading capture, some of them almost wanting to be eaten. It's an amazing feat of artificial intelligence. Until now, Ultimate has ruled the roost with their professional and slick arcade games, but I would say this is almost as good as Cookie. In some ways, though it might seem like sacrilege, even better. These Oliver twins must be technical wizards, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do next. And the hero, egg-like Dizzy, is so cute and endearing, he surely has a future in other games. And then Will goes on to write, my conclusion, if this had come out at the start of the Spectrum's history, it would be a crash smash. For the end of the 80s, it's a simple, slow, but briefly entertaining distraction with some nice touches.
That was good stuff. Who was it that put that
Will
together?
Brooker.
Well done.
He's a wordsmith.
He is. My gosh. Give Pixels. Give this guy a call.
Pixels at dawn, right?
There you go.
While Dizzy, and thank you for using while instead of that inferior word, is most well known for his adventure games, he has some really solid arcade outings, and Fast Food is one of them. While it is very clearly inspired by Pac-Man, in a lot of ways this is the better game. Whereas the arcade pill muncher relies on frenetic speed and muscle memory to challenge the player, Fast Food takes a more sedate pace. Indeed, it feels a bit plodding early on before your 4 enemies are introduced, but it's this more deliberate pace that allows for more thought and strategy to be applied. Because pickups block the enemy's progress, every piece of food you collect is effectively uncorking a new path for your opponents to pursue you. So all the time you're thinking of the right order and strategy needed to get you to the next level with getting trapped in a dead end or pinchered in a corner. And with the 30 different maze styles, it remains interesting throughout. Graphics are decent, especially the amusing extra life animations, and the music is stellar. The only thing I thought was a little cheap was the post-level 30 flipped levels mode. Some more original levels would have been appreciated. 8.5 out of 10.
Very good.
Pajako writes, Fast Food is a little too slow and plodding, and it takes a few levels to get going, but it's still a fun game in the end. The green speed boost puts the game speed to where it should be. The moving game collectibles can act as a temporary barrier to the enemies, so not collecting them can be a good strategy. Power-ups include questionable-looking pink invincibility icons that I initially mistook for an enemy, a shield that allows you to destroy enemies, and some bottles that achieve different things. The power-up effects are not immediately obvious, and you will lose lives trying them out at first. Some power-ups will give points and some won't, which I found an odd choice. The enemy monsters will mostly pathfind to your current location so you can herd them like sheep. Later mazes do make that harder though, as escape routes become thin on the ground. Being able to skip the extra live cutscenes would have been good, but not critical. Fast Food ticks enough boxes to be fun, and for the low cost, you get a decent game. Not quite gourmet fast food, more greasy burger by the side of the road, but you still enjoy it anyway, 7 out of 10. And he does mention Codemasters tended to be $2.99 as opposed to $1.99 for other budget games, so it was a pricier budget game. Jed Byrne writes, the Oliver twins were busy boys in '89. Not only did they produce a ton of games for Codemasters, but they also produced a couple big-name full-price games like Ghostbusters 2. They must have overextended themselves because Fast Food is disappointing. It's competent enough, and some promising ideas are there, like flipping the screen to make the second time round more interesting. However, the gameplay is slow, clunky, and dull, with none of the typical Dizzy charm. A year later, the Yoke Folk returned in Quick Snacks, and it was everything Fast Food should have been.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Skip Fast Food and go straight to Quick Snacks. Mitsuyama, our final review, writes, I've completely changed my opinion on this game as I played it over the past few weeks. At first I thought it was a poor Pac-Man clone. The pace was slow and the early levels were so easy I found them boring. However, it's only when you reach the later levels that the true game reveals itself. This is a puzzle game where the challenge is to determine the correct route through each level to pick up all the collectibles. The collectibles block the enemy's path, so it's crucial that you pick them up in the correct order. The inclusion of one-way walls and gates that disappear once you pass through them adds an extra challenge. Each level plays the same each time you reach it, so once you've discovered the correct route, you can use it on subsequent goes, which limits the replayability somewhat. The fact that the Oliver twins included an option to select the starting level demonstrates they don't intend for you to play the early levels on every go.
Yeah, we didn't even mention that. Yeah. That's a good point.
Plus, the fact that this was only $2.99 when released means this should get a few extra marks for value for money alone. So, not the donkey I initially thought, but quite a challenging puzzle game with little replayability, 7 out of 10.
Very good, very good. Good stuff in there. A couple things we didn't mention. There are other power-ups, something to fast forward and to rewind. The ability to to freeze the bad guys, the ability to even kill the bad guys. So they put some variants in there. I never got to the point where the screen would flip, but I did see footage of that. It's not the, I don't know. Again, we're talking £3. I mean, I would have killed for games of that quality, of that price.
Yeah.
I did look this up to see how it scored. There's a couple reviews here on Moby. Crash gave this a 60 out of 100. So not big fans, and your Sinclair 63. So they didn't receive it real well. I wanted to point out. I looked at this to see what other machines this appeared on, and one of the ones that was the Amiga, and so I thought it'd be interesting to have a look. And they actually went the direction I talked about with you, Bo, which was actually ditching the vertical and going to full screen. It's quite beautiful, actually, in terms of, I mean, it looks very arcadey.
I would really like to play this on Amigos.
It looks real nice. I like how the egg is dancing at the bottom. That's nice that they've named the level. So this is a lot of stuff. This is like if you were involved in this.
Yeah.
And so this might be one to check out. Maybe somewhere down the line we'll get to play this on our main show. But I think given the price, and let's listen, we're Americans. We didn't grow up playing those Disney games. It's a lot like some of the other stuff. And it's just, so we're not, it doesn't, I mean, at least in my case, I can't speak for both, but I don't have any problem putting this game over, actually. Yeah. I mean, I like a fun, simple maze romp as much as the next guy, and I think that's what this is. I think there's enough clever bits in it, enough with the power-up stuff to make this like, we played Pac-Man Deluxe a couple months ago on the Amiga. Like, if I had my choice between this and that, I'd play this over that. And, you know, I love the big doll.
Yeah.
But I think this is a more unique take on the genre of Maze Runner. And I liked it. I thought and the graphics, again, for a game like this, nice, big, beautiful, clear graphics. Worked like a charm, but
you know, I looked this thing up on eBay, Aaron, just to see what it was selling for. You can buy this right now for $16.54 or best offer. Of course, you're going to have to pay that amount almost exactly for shipping from the UK, but you can get this thing $32 in the United States, you know, in your hands here. So
I did see one recently sold for $7 though, so you might want to hold out. Before that.
Depends on how much you want it. All right, Aaron, we come to the end of fast food.
This is, hold on, before you get to the name calling, this is art time. It's art time, Bo.
Okay.
I'm going to show my art piece off. So many of you guys may know that I have inherited our tape collection. A lot of these a lot of people have sent us ZX Spectrum tapes over the years. I don't think I ever mentioned this on the show, but you know, I don't like to just have those tapes sitting in a box. It just bugs me, you know. So I've been looking around for a way to display them, and what I came up with was the old index card holders. And so you can see this is my 20 tapes. These are ZX tapes, and you can see I've had one of these hanging right behind Boat for quite a while. I did 2 more of these. It's going to take probably 20 to get our tapes. But the good thing about this is you can see the backs, and you can also pick one of these out and play it whenever you want. So if you're looking for a way to display your collection, I would be interested if other people have better ideas than this, because this isn't the cheapest way to go. These things are about $15, you know. But if you don't have a better method, there you go. You can hang them right up. Don't keep them in a box. They make beautiful wall art, don't they, Bo?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, there's nothing more evocative. The ZX Spectrum art, and I guess you see this continues on through the 16-bit computers. But I mean, some of the most stunning cover art of all time appeared on the Spectrum.
Yeah, and you know, it's neat, the tapestry of multiple tapes. And I've been going through the collection trying to get all the non-discounted ones out. And I've learned enough about from the show to at least know what the second runs are and the top hits and the kicks. and all that stuff. So it's kind of fun to go through and organize them because I'm a dork. So there's also that.
Everybody needs a hobby.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Aaron, it's time to bid a fond farewell to fast food. If you have any feedback, please feel free to hit us up. You can leave us a comment on YouTube, or you can come on over to our Discord server. If you want to support the show and get access to that, just visit patreon.com/Our Sinclair. We are reaching ever closer to our goal of making Our Sinclair a weekly program. Once we reach $200 a month, it will shift.
We could dig into these things.
That's right, man. That's right. And that leads us to our Sinclair roll call. So first we got to give a shout out to Clive's Club. This is the group that picks these games for us. Big props to Mr. Rocket, Mitsuyama, Richard Goulstone, Paul Harrington, Mick Chessers, Jed Byrne, Justin Tinpot Gamer, Orkmeal, and Paul, a.k.a. Hermski.
Those guys are incredibly important to us.
Yes.
Not because they're ponying up or whatever. It's because these guys, we need your helping hand. Like a game like this, we've not been enamored with the Dizzy games. And so when you say, hey, here's another Dizzy game, so but they knew. They're like, listen, this will get over. They know the good stuff. So we really appreciate all the people in the committee. And anyone thinking about it that's on the fence, hey, should I get in the committee, get in there and get something? Come on in. The way they vote is great. It's very cordial. Everyone gets their say in, and it's very nice. I don't go in there often because I like to be surprised, but when I do go in there, everyone's super nice.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, too. And also, if you're very passionate about a particular game, this is a great way to get it to come across our front door.
Yeah. And, of course, we have all of our Sinclair supporters, who include Pajako6502, Will Brooker, Wanderly Chesum, Stephen Wilcott, Chartel, Nathan Mills, Doug Berry, Jigglebox, David Terrace, Andrew Waite, Eric Nelson, Captain Crispy, Laurent Giroux, Mark Downey, Peter Mulholland, Chris Folds, Mark Durham, and Pixels at Dawn.
Thanks, y'all.
If you like this format, you want to hear us sitting around talking about old computer games, check out our other shows. Amigos, Everything Amiga. We got the CoCo Show, all about gaming on the Tandy color computer. 1200XL, about the Atari 8-bits. The Atari ST Show, and of course ARG Presents, where Aaron and the Brent spin the wheel and make the deal. All of these shows can be found on the Amigos Retro Gaming YouTube channel or at anchor.fm/Amigos Podcast.
Well done.
What are we going to be playing next time, Aaron?
Let's see what they picked out for us, folks, here. Survey says, oh no, we're going to be playing this at nighttime.
Nighttime. You know, nighttime is the right time.
I've heard that. I love it.
So, we will see you guys next time. And until then, rewind tape.
And press play. Ooh.